absolutely beautiful Gemini friends, and welcome to your horoscope for 2023, where Gemini, man, this year, aren't we coming in with a little something? We've got your ruling planet Mercury retrograde and then Mars retrograde in your sign. So if that is not the signal for come on in here, but do it slowly, I don't know what is. So as we are starting this year off, we are not rushing and running in here. So I want to make that absolutely clear. It is a time to come in and remember you're still in a bit of introspection, right? There's some reflection that is going on here. And when the ruling planet is retrograde, sometimes it can feel a bit hinky. It can feel a little bit heavy. You know what I mean? Like you're just naturally moving more slowly. And that planet of get up and go, which is Mars, in your sign is really like, I'm genuinely not moving quickly. So if that is the signature that we are coming in here with, I just want you to know to embrace it. There's a lot that can be done by looking backwards. And speaking of looking backwards, where Mercury is retrograde here in this energy of Capricorn, lighting up your 8th house space, we saw the signature at the beginning of 2022. So flashback to January of 2022, we had Venus retrograde here. What was going on for you at that time? What were you building? What were you working on? What were you reviewing? What were you seeing? What still had value for you in this 8th house arena? We're talking about the things that have to do with, joint resources, joint finances, joint collaborations, things all year of having to do maybe with finances or where you find value, psychological holdups that you had that were actually acting as saboteurs in your life. And now, as Mercury is retrograding here, you're kind of reviewing the progress that you made in revaluing, in eliminating the things that didn't have value for you during this particular time. So it's a lot of energy there with that Mercury retrograde. Now we're going to see Mars come out of retrograde on January 12th in this energy of Gemini. So that's nice because it means you can start to move yourself forward. You've had a lot of time with this Mars retrograde to relook at your strategy, relook at who's in your network and who's helping you, who's guiding you, who you're speaking to, who you're learning with. Do you feel like you can take a deep breath in your life, or do you feel like there's still a lot of things bogging you down and you need a new strategy to move around that, right? Like life moves on the breath. So if that's not happening for you, Gemini, this is a great time to look at where you need to restructure. Now, we're also going to see that Mercury is going to come out of retrograde on January 18th, of course, up there in that 8th house. So decisions about what you need to detox, what you need to let go, or financial decisions, I think become just abundantly clearer for you as you begin to experience that energy. Now, as we're moving forward in the year, we're going to see Mercury have 4 different retrogrades, and they're all going to be moving through Earth energies. We will cover these in the monthly and the weekly videos respectively, because I really believe in sharing all of the retrogrades of the year with you so that you can see when times are really low for productivity or when naturally the energy to achieve is going to be a little bit slower. So we'll cover those in those other videos, okay? Now, when we get to March 7th, we're going to have a significant movement of energy. Saturn is going to move from that energy of Aquarius into the energy of Pisces. So it's going to pull out of this 9th house energy for you, publishing, marketing, broadcasting, philosophies, ideas that you have that have been governing higher education, higher thought, gurus, legal things, religion, things that you did religiously, I think were also considered in here. And definitely travel, anything that had to do with travel to foreign places, foreign lands. You really got to have a lot of Saturn's fingertips all over this Aquarian energy. And it was really about bringing you to the next level, right? Bringing you to mastery, to expertise, allowing you to arise in public as a master of your craft. So it really was a lot of showing how skillful you are under that Saturnian energy. And now, as Saturn moves into the energy of Pisces and begins its work in this 10th house space, which is career, soul level calling, what we see you do in public, your reputation. And remember, when I say career, I want you to always think quite broadly about it, because, it's your title that we call you in public. Do we call you senior account manager? Do we call you general store manager? Do we call you wife? Do we call you husband? Do we call you grandmother, volunteer organizer? What do we call you in public? Because this is where Saturn is going to come in. And if your ground here is solid, it is going to help you stand at a level of excellence, integrity, and mastery that you've been developing long enough that now it's here to support that achievement. If the foundations here are weaker, that is what Saturn is going to help you do. Tighten them up. It's going to bring you to the next level through maturity so that you can deliver that excellence, right? So Saturn here, I think you are really put in a position where you have to grow and you have to mature in ways that allow you to change into the leader or to the reputation that you need to be called in public. So for some people, that means you're going to work harder this year to achieve that next level status in that office place or in your career, whatever that looks like for you. For some people, that means you will do absolutely nothing but have become a grandparent, right? For other people, it means maybe you're getting married, you're getting divorced, you're changing your title in public. For many of you Geminis, I wonder how many of you will be called to some kind of public service, public office, because you've seen something around you not be as efficient or as excellent as you would like it to be. So you're willing to move forward with that. Now, it's an interesting space when we're talking about Saturn moving into this 10th house for you, because it's moving into the space where Saturn wants to crystallize something. And it's like a 3.5 year period, a 2.5, 3 year period where we're looking at crystallizing, making it solid, bringing a structure here in this Piscean energy, healing, spirituality, right? Like really what's the right ideal. But it's doing this while Neptune is also in the space of the vision, the dream, right? And so Neptune is creating this big, beautiful ideal of what could be next. How could this be the best psychically, emotionally, physically, materially that it can be? But it's still just this vision, and Saturn is trying to wrap this Neptunian energy up and create something solid out of it. So it essentially is trying to create a support for the vision, but it really does come through Piscean activities. We're going to be challenged to get quiet and to listen to the intuition of where the vision is guiding us. So I really can't wait to hear what this looks like for you. Neptune in Pisces has also dissolved some things for you, Gemini, in this career area where it is like, that is not for me anymore. And with saying no to that, you've been granted an opportunity to say yes to something else. And what is it? Now, on March 23rd, we're going to have another really significant event. We're going to see Pluto changing signs, so leaving this 8th house space of Capricorn, where it's been since 2008. So really giving you some work at, things around sex, around sexuality, around intimacy, around where you needed to have a detox or a psychological rebirth in some way. Wills, taxes, estates, insurance, all of these things fall into the 8th house as well. But all of these things, birth, absolutely, reproductive organs fall in here as well. So all of these things you've been having a tear down so that you could rise up. This is where your Phoenix energy has been. And now, as we get to March 23rd, and we see Pluto change signs just for a short while into the energy of Aquarius, we're going to now start to have a conversation about this 9th house space. Okay. And we're going to have this conversation about trust issues. Do you have trust issues in your belief structure, right? Where in the ways that you've been expanding yourself out, are you ready to, publish, market, broadcast, travel, like really big travel, like reach for the stars level travel, but you're realizing that something in me, like I've got to detox things in me and in my belief structure. My sabotage has to die off so that that part of me that is ready to phoenix can absolutely live. Where have you felt insecure in publishing, marketing, broadcast, speaking that foreign language, doing that travel, taking that higher education certification, teaching? Where have you felt insecure about what you have to teach? You've been studying it forever. You've been learning it forever. So where are you in your holdback for teaching? Pluto is going to create a lot of intensity around making these changes. Now, where you get uncomfortable, where you meet intensity, where you meet confrontation, where you meet pressure, this is the guide to get in there, and you don't go alone, Gemini. Get a therapist, get a psychologist, get a mentor, because Pluto in the dying down encourages us to reach out and say, who can companion me to go to my hell and back safely so that I can look around in the depths of my beautiful, joyful desire, my beautiful insecurity, and find a way back. So it encourages you to reach for something so much bigger because at a deep level, you're built for it. Okay. Now, Pluto is not going to stay here. We're going to see Pluto take this retrograde. And so we're not going to see the full implications, I think, of Pluto in this Aquarian energy until 2024 timeframe, really seeing the impact of that. But I just want you to be mindful that as we get to the 23rd, we are absolutely going to see that energy moving in. Okay. Now, as we get into April, we're going to begin the eclipse cycle. So first and foremost, on the 20th, we are going to have a solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries. Okay. Now, this is a new moon solar eclipse. This one's going to be lighting up your 11th house, Gemini. So this is friends, social groupings, organizations, but long-range goals, desires, and aspirations that you have for yourself as well, what you'd like to be known as, possibilities, community, virtual communities, social media, all of these things live in that 11th house space for you. And I want to point out that while this is the new moon and you're planting your seeds of intention to begin something new here, you're beginning it at an anaretic degree, 29 degrees of Aries, which tells me you have the capacity for understanding what you want to champion into this world already. Whether or not you have, you've been baby stepping or you've taken all the steps that you need to begin to lead in that direction, this may be what this energy over the next 3 to 6 months is pulling to your attention with this solar eclipse. Maybe it's pulling a tribe to you, friends to you, the appropriate alignment with who can support you in your journey, but you do know where you want to go. Now it's about allowing that reinvigoration of what you're willing to fight for and who's in your tribe to help you do that coming to you. Now we're going to have our next eclipse that's going to actually happen on May 5th at 14 degrees of Scorpio. Now we've been looking at the Taurus Scorpio axes, all throughout 2022. So this is really not new information at all. However, as we're looking at this lunar eclipse in your 6th house space of daily routines, health, wellness, if you're a freelance person, we're also going to see those freelance projects being in this area as well. The lunar eclipse is bringing the intensity of asking you to end something, acknowledge something, or adjust something, right? It's like, hey, make adjustments that you need to finish working on this project. Make adjustments that you need to let go of some of the power struggle in your daily routine, right? This is going to be a really big deal happening for you as we're looking at this scorpionic energy over in that 6th house space, because it's so much about how do you feel secure and happy and like powerful and stable in your daily routine? And if there are things that still need to be shed, this is going to be the time at this eclipse to allow that to happen. Okay. Now we're also going to have in October our next set of eclipses. The first one's going to be October 14th, and this is going to be our second solar eclipse of 2023. So this one is going to be happening at 21 degrees of Libra. Okay. So now where we're going to see this working is in this fifth house, right? This is play. This is children. This is childlike energy, entertainment, romance, where you take a risk, where you love, where you have joy, where you have pleasure. So you've got a new moon solar eclipse happening in this area. So I have to ask you, oh my gosh, first of all, what are you getting excited about in your fifth house energy to bring joy, to bring play into your life over the next 3 to 6 months? Where is there a romance, maybe even a marriage proposal? A proposal is the word I'm looking for, that could be coming to your table. Where are your children advancing? Where are you advancing with children? Whatever it is, to take on the next adventure of this particular eclipse, you're going to be required to take a risk. That is what we do in the fifth house. Now, I do want to say as well, it's a fantastic energy, I believe, for conception, whether that is conception of people, babies, adoptions, or businesses. This is a fantastic energy to move in the direction of something you're willing to take a risk with, but have fun with it. Play if you can, okay? Now, the final eclipse of the year is going to be on October 28th, and this one is going to be in the energy of Taurus at 5 degrees. So we're going to see this back in your 12th house space, okay? So rest, rejuvenation, recovery, things behind the scenes, secrets, hidden things. And that can be hidden, like I have an addiction or I have an immune system issue. It can be jails, institutions, nursing homes, neonatal practices, things that have to do with the elderly, right? Cold case files. All of these things fall in the 12th house space. Things that have to do with our own undoing, behaviors, actions, attitudes. Our saboteurs live back here as well. But I also like to think of charity being in this 12th house space. So even though this is a lunar eclipse and it's asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment, Uranus is still in Taurus at this time. So it's kind of this energy to me where it's like, Gemini, if it just fills your soul to not be out in public working on things, letting your life be available for human consumption, if lifting your heart throughout 22 and 23 is really done by being of service to other people, going to charities, sharing yourself in a quiet way, serving from seclusion, being a little bit of a hermit, getting to celebrate that you have let some things culminate in your life. You've let them go and you're like, that's not my path anymore. I think there has to be a great space made for where you've gone to rest and to recover and to surrender what can no longer travel forward with you, to feel wealthy in the energy of creating behind the scenes because it's something that lifts your spirit. Maybe you're creating metaphysical or spiritual content. Maybe you are helping a specialized group of people. Whatever it is, that eclipse very much so speaks to, there has to be an ending acknowledgement or an adjustment, but it can really be a shift of energy that kicks you significantly in the direction that you've really truly been wanting to go. Okay, let's flash back to May for just a minute. We covered the eclipses, but when we get to May, on the 17th, we are going to see Jupiter move into the energy of Taurus. And I'm telling you, it is whipping and zipping through both through Aries and Taurus. So in this 12th house space, you're also going to get this big expansion resonating over here again with that Uranian energy. So the vibration is thick. So I will tell you too, I think that the Taurus Scorpio axis lights up in each of us this ability to honestly listen to other people and become a resource for healing for them and to allow others to do the same to us. So Gemini, let me just ask you flat out with Jupiter here, where are you going to expand your teaching on healing? Where are you going to expand your teaching on pleasure? What it means to enjoy and allow yourself, and you guide other people to remember that it is a pleasure, and there is pleasure in our 5 senses. Taurus likes to be in the senses, that there is a space where spirituality and money do mix. Where are these the conversations that you may be talking to and expanding out with people? Now, remember, Jupiter is just Jupiter, so it will expand what it's next to. So I'm telling you, in the Tauran areas, if you are feeling insecure or powerless or afraid around around money or around relationships or around your self-worth, Jupiter will expand this. And in its expansion, you will get the opportunity to gain the wisdom of what it means to come to the other side of understanding your own value in very tangible ways, I assure you. But also where this is already working in your favor, you've been working on this, you understand your wisdom and you're willing to share it. Jupiter can also expand this in a way that is really, really gorgeous and touches the lives of others by sharing your own absolutely brilliant and beautiful wisdom. So lots and lots to be looking at. Now, again, I want to remind you that we are going to cover all of the retrogrades that are going to be happening from the outer planets to the inner planets in the weekly and the monthly forecast breakdowns. So just make sure you keep following me here, right here on this channel. Please like this video, please comment, please share, please subscribe. We are going to get more into that Venus retrograde in Leo, just there in your third house, as we get through these weekly and monthlies as well. But I also want to offer you an invitation to know that 2023 maybe is not going to feel the best life ever all year long, but there is an opportunity for you to get involved with a different definition of success for yourself, especially along the lines of spiritually, where are you actually making progress? That even if you don't see it materially, you know you're doing good work, Gemini. All right, my beautiful friend, I look forward to seeing what your explorations of 2023 are bringing to you. Please let me know in the comment section down below. I love you guys. Bye.